lecture. We are discussing our topic cell unit of life, and it is from the part 1, that is from paper first. In our previous lecture, we have seen the cell organelles like the lysosomes, vacuoles and the mitochondria. And in the last cell organelle, that is the mitochondria, we have seen that these mitochondria are the double membrane cell organelle. It is an important cell organelle because we call it as a powerhouse of the cell, as it produces energy-rich ATP molecules in it. This mitochondria, which is the important cell organelle because it also contains its own DNA, which is in the form of small circular double-stranded DNA. And now we will discuss the next cell organelle, and that is the plastid, which is another important cell organelle from this topic, and the name of that cell organelle is called as the plastids. So, plastids are the cell organelle, and it is present in the plants and in euglenoids. So, plastid is the cell organelle which is present in the plants and euglenoids. Okay? Because we have seen that plastids is absent in the animal cell, so it is present only in the plants and in euglenoids. Euglenoids means these are the organism, or example of this euglenoids is the euglena, which we say that also contain the pigments, and plastid is another important cell organelle which has a different type of pigment. So it is very important that plastid is a cell organelle which is present in the plants and the euglenoids. It is very large in size, so we can easily observe it under the microscope. This plastid contain different types of the pigment which gives different color to the plant or the parts of the plant. Plastid is full of the pigments which has various types of pigment, and this pigment gives the different types of the colors to the particular plant or the part of the plant. And according to the type of the pigment present in the plastid, these plastids are classified into 3 types, and those types of the plastids are, according to their pigment, these plastids are of 3 types, and those types are: one type of the plastid is called as the Chloroplast. Second type, Chromoplast, and the third type is called as Leukoplasty. Okay, so these are the 3 types of the plastids which are classified according to the types of pigments present in it. So here we will discuss the first type of plastid, and that is the Chloroplast. Chloroplast, first type of plastid is the Chloroplast, and this Chloroplast is a green colored plastid. It is a green in color, and it contains 2 types of pigments, and those pigments are the chlorophyll and carotenoids. So pigment present in this chloroplast are the chlorophyll and carotenoids. These 2 pigments are present in this plastid, and both these pigments, chlorophyll and carotenoid, are responsible for trapping of the light energy, which is useful for the process of photosynthesis. Because all of you know that photosynthesis is a physiological activity found in the plant, and in which, with the help of light, carbon dioxide, water, plant can prepare their own food that we call as an autotrophic plant, and that process is called as photosynthesis. And for that photosynthesis process, that plant requires 2 types of pigments, which are present in the chloroplast of that plant, and those pigments are the chlorophyll pigment, and the second pigment is called as the carotenoids pigment. Okay, so both these pigments, chlorophyll and carotenoids, are responsible for receiving the light or trapping of the light and conversion of that light energy into the chemical energy in the form of ATP, and that process is called as photosynthesis. Okay, now the second important thing is that the next type of plastid, that is called as the chromoplast. So second plastid is the chromoplast. This chromoplast plastid again has the pigment, but these pigments are the fat soluble, and the name of those pigments are called as carotenoids, and it also contains some other pigments. So this chromoplast contains the fat soluble. It means these pigments can be soluble only in the fats. They are not water soluble. So these pigments are called as fat soluble pigments, which are present in the chromoplast. So chromoplast contain fat soluble pigments, and those pigments are called as the carotenoids. And it also contains some other pigments, and also has some other pigments. Now, which type of pigments, that is called as the fat soluble carotenoid pigments, which are present inside this chromoplast? Those fat soluble pigments, that is the carotenoids, are of two types. One is called as the carotene, and another one is called as xanthophyll. Another one is called as the xanthophyll. So carotene and xanthophyll, these are the two pigments which are togetherly called as the carotenoids, and those pigments are present inside this chromoplast, which is another type of the plastid present inside the plants and some euglenoids. Now, the third type of plastid, according to the pigment present in it, is called as the leucoplast. It is leucoplast. But important thing about this leucoplast is that this leucoplast is called as the colorless plastid. It is colorless plastid. It do not have any color. This ultimately it is white in color. But this leucoplast stores nutrient in it. This leucoplast, which is a type of plastid which is white in color, which is colorless, is store nutrient in it, and according to which type of nutrient gets stored inside this leucoplast, these leucoplasts are again of the three types, and those are the amyloplast, ileoplast, and the leucoplast. So this leucoplast here, I will write the types of this leucoplast according to which material gets stored in it. So first type of this leucoplast is called as the amyloplast. Okay, so this amyloplast, which is a type of the leucoplast, this amyloplast store the carbohydrate in it in the form of starch. An example of it is the potato. So what is it store? It stores carbohydrate. This is in the form of starch. An example of it is the potato. Okay, so here this amyloplast is the type of the leucoplast which stores carbohydrate as a nutrient in it. The form of carbohydrate is the starch. An example is of the potato, because carbohydrates are of three types: monosaccharide, disaccharide, and the polysaccharide. Monosaccharide has different type of example, disaccharide has different type of example, and the polysaccharide is nothing but the starch which is present in the form of carbohydrate. And so carbohydrate are stored in amyloplast, which are the type of this carbohydrate, that is the starch, and this starch is commonly found in the potato. Then the second type of this leucoplast is called as next to amyloplast there is a ileoplast. What is ileoplast store the fats and oils. Chloroplast stores fats and oils. Okay, so fatty substances and oils get stored in this Leukoplasty, which is the type of this Leukoplasty. And the third type of this Leukoplasty is called as the Aleuroplast. We store the protein material in it. We store the protein in it. So students, see here, it is very important that this amyloplast, Chloroplast and aleuroplast, these are the three types of the leukoplast, which is according to which type of food material is stored in this leukoplast. When carbohydrate is stored in the form of starch, it is called as amyloplast. When fats and oil get stored, it is called as Leukoplasty. And when proteins get stored, it is called as the Aleuroplast. So Leukoplast are of three types: amyloplast, Leukoplasty and Aleuroplast. What we have seen up to this point, that is the plastid is an important cell organelle which is present in the plants and the eukaryotes. It contains different types of pigments, and according to which type of pigments are present in the plastid, these plastids are of three types, and those are called as Chloroplast, Chromoplast and the Leukoplast. In Chloroplast, two types of pigments are there: chlorophyll and the carotenoids. All these pigments are essential for trapping of light energy and conversion of that light energy into the chemical energy. That process is called as photosynthesis. Then chromoplast is another type of plastid which contain the fat soluble pigments, and those fat soluble pigments which are present in this chromoplast are called as the carotenoids, and these carotenoids are of two types: carotene and the xanthophyll, which together we call as the carotenoid. Then the third type of plastid, that is called as the leukoplast, which is white in color, which is colorless, and this leukoplast generally store nutrient in the plant, and according to which type of nutrient is there in the leukoplast, this leukoplast are again of three types: amyloplast, Leukoplasty and the aleuroplast. So for NEET point of view, the question is asked that in one column the name of the plastids are given, that is amyloplast, Leukoplast and aleuroplast, and other column the nutrient is given which gets stored in that particular plastid, that is the carbohydrates, fats and oil and the protein. So you have to match the nutrient and the type of that plastid. This is the one type of question may be asked for the NEET. Second one is the another point which is important for NEET point of view is that the pigments are very essential. Sometimes question may be asked that which type of pigments are present in the chloroplast, then we should know the chlorophyll and the carotenoid. Also, the chromoplast also contains the carotenoid, and again this carotenoid is of two types: carotene and xanthophyll. No doubt, student may get confused that this carotenoid and this carotenoid which is present in the chromoplast is the same. So carotenoid means again here you have to remember that it contains again two pigments, and those are the carotene and the xanthophyll, and those are the carotene and the xanthophyll. Okay, so carotene and xanthophyll together called as carotenoid. So this carotenoid present in the chromoplast and the same carotenoid present in the chloroplast are the same type of the pigments. Okay, and lastly we have seen this leukoplast. So now student, in today's lecture we will focus on one of the important plastid, that is the chloroplast. And here I am going to draw the diagram of the chloroplast, and by which you can easily understand the concept of the photosynthesis, because in the next year in 12th standard you have to study one important topic, that is photosynthesis, and for that you should know the structure of the chloroplast, because this chloroplast is a cell organelle which is only responsible for the synthesis of the food with the help of different pigments, with the help of the light and with the help from raw material like water and the CO2. So to understand the photosynthesis concept, we have to see first the structure of the chloroplast. In the last lecture, we have drawn the diagram of the mitochondria. So for theoretical point of view, with the diagram like prokaryotic cell, plant cell, animal cell, you have to also practice the diagram of the mitochondria and the diagram of the chloroplast. So here we will draw the diagram of this chloroplast, and here we see the important part of this cell organelle which is responsible for the process of photosynthesis. Again, important thing is that, or before sketching the diagram, we have to know that where these chloroplasts are present in the plant, or in which part or in which cell of the plant this chloroplast is present. Okay, what is the shape of this chloroplast? How it looks like in the body of the plant, that we have to see here. So now we are going to discuss the important cell organelle, and the name of that cell organelle is called as the chloroplast. See here, this chloroplast is found in the mesophyll cell of the leaves. Okay, in the leaves part of the plant, there are some cells which are found in that, and those cells are called as mesophyll cells. Because in the same year, in the anatomy of flowering plant, we have studied in detail the section of root, stem, and leaves, and in that we are going to study in detail what is meant by mesophyll cell. But here you have to remember that in the leaves of the plant, which is green part of the plant, there are the cells. Name of that cell are called as the mesophyll cell, and inside the mesophyll cell you will find the cell organelle that is called as the chloroplast. If you see the structure of this chloroplast, then it may be in the form of lens shape, lens which is present in our eyes. Okay, like that lens, it has a shape. It may be oval, or it may be circular. It may be disc-like, which we call as a discoid, or it may be in the form of ribbon. Okay, so its shape is variable. In some plant, it may be lens-like, it may be disc-like, it may be ribbon-like, it may be oval or in a circular form. And here, the thing is that this chloroplast, like the mitochondria, is the double membrane structure. It is double membrane. It is a double membrane cell organelle. Okay, because mitochondria also has two membrane, outer membrane and inner membrane. Like that, this chloroplast also has two membrane, outer membrane and the inner membrane. Okay, now here we will draw the diagram of this chloroplast. The diagram is very important, because when you understand the diagram, then and then only you can focus clearly on the theoretical part of this chloroplast. So what is the structure of this chloroplast? See here, this chloroplast, we will draw the diagram. Here also we will draw the rough diagram of this chloroplast. So students, see here, we will draw a small diagram of this chloroplast. Okay. This is double membrane structure. Like the mitochondria. From the textbook you can practice the diagram, but here we are discussing the structure of this chloroplast. That's why we are drawing the diagram on the board. But it's not 100% like that of the book, because at the same time we have to explain it. So you can observe that this is the structure of the chloroplast. Here you can observe this is outer membrane This is called as inner membrane. Okay, now all the content here, this is called as the stroma. But before that, you have to draw some structure present in the stroma, and the structure looks like this. Here you can observe structures. Okay, like the stack of coins, you can observe such structure. See here. Okay. Students, see here, same structure we will find here. But we are not wasting too much time in drawing this figure. But see here, this content of the chloroplast is called as stroma. Okay. In the chloroplast also you will observe the circular double-stranded molecule which you call as a DNA. Which you call as a DNA. Here in the stroma you can observe the ribosomes. Same like that of the mitochondria. Then what is it? This structure is called as stroma lamellae. It is called as stroma lamellae. This is called as thylakoid. This is called as thylakoid. And one single, if you consider it, it is called as grana or grana. Okay. So see here labels of this diagram, which is of the chloroplast, outer membrane, inner membrane. So these are the double membrane structure. Okay. This content which is occupied by this inner membrane is called as stroma. Inside the stroma, which structure is found or which structure is found? Here, this is the ribosome. This structure, which is like the stack of points, are called as thylakoid. A single structure from the thylakoid is called as granum or the grana. This is the DNA. And here, you can observe this chloroplast, which is called as a factory for the synthesis of the food in the plant. Okay, so here you have to remember that, and some extra point that are not given in inside the book, that we will also discuss from this chloroplast content. But see here, what is the important thing about this chloroplast? One more thing, that is the chloroplast are the double membrane structure. Okay, so it is very important for this point of view. Another point is that this chloroplast also contain double circular DNA, and that's why the chloroplast, and in previous lecture the cell organ that we have seen is the mitochondria. Both these cell organs are called as the semi-autonomous cell organelle. Why the chloroplast and mitochondria are called semi-autonomous cell organelle? Because both these cell organelle have its own DNA, and all the functions of this cell organelle are carried according to suggestion of that own DNA. It do not depend on the DNA of the nucleus, but other cell organelles like ER, Golgi complex, vacuole, lysosome, which have to depend on the nucleus, or which have to depend on the DNA of the nucleus, because they do not have their own DNA. But mitochondria and chloroplast have its own DNA. That's why these two cell organelles are called as semi-autonomous cell organelle. Now, the important thing is that there are another part which is present inside this chloroplast, which is occupied by this inner membrane, and that part of the chloroplast is called as the stroma part. Like in mitochondria, we have seen the matrix, and in chloroplast there is presence of the stroma. So inside the stroma part, you can observe there are membranous, flat, sac-like structure will be there. Membranous, that means it has particular membrane. Flattened means it has flattened structure. Membranous, flattened structure can be observed, and that structure is given the name thylakoid. That structure is given the name thylakoid. Now you can observe that how these thylakoids are present in the chloroplast. They are present in the form of this type of coins which are placed one above the other. एखाद्या कॉइन्स कसे एकावर एक ठेवल्यानंतर स्ट्रक्चर दिसतं, तसं स्ट्रक्चर तुम्हाला या थायलाकॉइडचं पाहायला मिळतं. आणि त्यातले सिंगल कॉइन जर आपण बाजूला काढला तर तो सिंगल कॉइन म्हणजेच काय म्हणतात आपल्याला ग्रॅनम, आणि ग्रॅना म्हणजे आपल्याला सांगता येईल प्लुरल फॉर्म, आणि सिंग्युलर म्हणजे काय सांगता येईल ग्रॅनम. म्हणजे असे अनेक ग्रॅनम एकावर एक ठेवल्यानंतर तुम्हाला स्ट्रक्चर पाहायला मिळतं. असे अनेक ग्रॅनम लेबल केले बघा, ग्रॅनम एकावर एक ठेवल्यानंतर जे स्ट्रक्चर पाहायला मिळतं that is called as the thylakoid. That is called as the thylakoid. Now here outer and inner membrane are there, but the important thing we have to remember that this inner membrane of the chloroplast is less permeable as compared to the outer membrane, because the outer membrane of the chloroplast is more permeable while inner membrane of the chloroplast is less permeable. Less permeable means it do not allow easily all the molecules to come in or go outside through it. That is called as a less permeable. Okay, we have seen that plasma membrane is the semi-permeable because it allows only selective molecules to come in or goes outside through it. But here another thing is that freely permeable and less permeable. Freely permeable means any molecule can come in or goes out through that particular membrane, that is called as freely permeable. But less permeable means that membrane not allows all the molecules to come in or goes outside, that is called as less permeable. So here important thing that you have to remember that this inner membrane of the chloroplast is less permeable as compared to the outer membrane, because outer membrane is more permeable than the inner membrane. Okay, here you can observe that this stroma has also the ribosome, and those ribosomes are of the 70S type. In the previous lecture also we have seen that mitochondria has its own ribosome. Those are also of the 70S type. So important thing here that even though we can say that the prokaryotic cell has 70S type of ribosome and the eukaryotic cell has the 80S type of ribosome, but in the cell organelle of the eukaryotic cell, it may be mitochondria or it may be chloroplast. Inside that cell organelle, you can observe the 70S type of ribosome. It is not of the 80S type of ribosome. In eukaryotic cell, proper 80S type of ribosome is present, but inside the cell organelle of the eukaryotic cell, you can observe the 70S type of the ribosome. Now, next thing is that inside the stroma also there are some enzymes, and those enzymes are involved for the synthesis of protein or for synthesis of the carbohydrates, which are essential for the process of photosynthesis. So here which part is present in the stroma part of the chloroplast? Stroma part of chloroplast contains circular DNA molecule, it contains 70S ribosomes, it contains flattened sac-like structure which is called as a thylakoid, and single structure of this thylakoid is called as the granum. The space which is occupied by each granum or each thylakoid is called as a lumen. म्हणजे एका थायलाकोइडच्या आतमध्ये जी जागा आहे किंवा एका ग्रॅनमच्या आतमध्ये जी जागा आहे त्याला काय म्हणायचं ल्युमेन. आणि एक लक्षात ठेवा आपण इथं द फोटोसिंथेटिक पिगमेंट which we have already mentioned, that is chlorophyll and carotenoid, which are present in the plants, they are present in the thylakoids. They are present in the thylakoids. So students, here we have completed the part of the chloroplast which is given in our NCERT book, and according to which we have seen the structure of the chloroplast, which is the important plastid responsible for the photosynthesis. Now, some additional points which are not given in NCERT, but you should know that we will discuss here. Which are those points? Here we have to see that this chloroplast has the two cell organelle, or has the two parts. One is called as the stroma part and other part is called as the grana part, because grana we have seen that the single structure which is present in the thylakoid is called as the grana. That part can again will simplify here. This single structure is called as the grana, and in many you can observe here, if more than one will be there, then such a structure we call it as a grana. So granum is a singular and grana is plural. So such a grana comes together, and finally all the grana are placed one above the other like a stack of points, and the whole structure of the grana which is occupied like this is called as the thylakoid. So here you have to clear that thylakoid is made up of the grana, or is made up of the granum. So the chlorophyll pigment which are present in the chloroplast, they are particularly found inside the lumen of thylakoid, or we may say that it is present inside the grana. So from your point of view, if the question is asked that where the chlorophyll pigment or the carotenoid pigments are present in the chloroplast, the answer is that it is present in the lumen of the thylakoid, nothing but in the granum or the grana part of the thylakoid. Okay, so student, here we have completed the chloroplast part on the NCERT. Now here we will discuss some additional part, that is the two important reactions can be observed in the plant during the process of photosynthesis, and those reactions are called as the light reaction and the dark reaction. Okay, light reaction and the dark reaction are the two reactions which are carried out in this chloroplast cell organelle, which are the part of the photosynthesis. By this reaction, food can be prepared inside the body of the plant. Now, here we have to remember that light reaction means name itself indicates this reaction is carried out in presence of light. Okay, and the dark reaction means this reaction is carried out in absence of light. So this light reaction is carried out in the grana part of the thylakoid, while the dark reaction is carried out in the stroma part of the thylakoid. Okay, this is the extra point that you have to remember only, because this part we have to study in the next year, but you should know what is the role of grana and what is the role of stroma in the process of photosynthesis. That's why we are discussing this point, that is light reaction takes place in the grana part of the chloroplast and the dark reaction takes place in the stroma part of the chloroplast. Then what is meant by light reaction and what is meant by dark reaction? Meaning it simply indicate that in presence of light, light reaction is carried out, in absence of the light, dark reaction is carried out. But you have to remember that in the light reaction ATP are produced, while in the dark reaction carbohydrates are produced. Okay, in the light reaction ATP gets produced in the plant, while in the dark reaction carbohydrates are formed in the plant. And here we have to make one trick for this, that is LG. LG is an electronic company. In that, L stands for light and G stands for grana. So it is called as LG. And when you remember LG, you can easily remember the dark reaction which is found in the stroma part of the chloroplast. Okay. So another important thing is there is that this chloroplast is only cell organelle responsible for carrying out this light dark reaction, that is nothing but the photosynthesis. So students, here in today's lecture we have discussed only the plastid part from the cell unit of life, and in that we have discussed the three types of plastid, that is the chloroplast, chromoplast and the leukoplast. And clearly we have seen the structure of the chloroplast, and then we have observed that light and dark reaction are the reaction which are carried out in this chloroplast. Okay.